So, this is online gaming and aggression. So, as we all know, it's been touted that online gaming and gaming in general with violent video games causes aggression. But let's find out if it really does. So, gaming, just in general, why is it important? Gaming can be seen as important as, according to Keeley, it can allow a learning of particular environments and provide other learning experiences. Keeley also suggests that this type of learning will be useful in the classroom as it could aid students in their education. But she does note that there has not been a model of incorporating learning in gaming when this research piece was published. So as you can see, it's 2005. It's relatively old, but in the School of Cyber Psychology, that's also relatively new. So, but what is online gaming? Well, in essence, online gaming, it comes in many forms. It's a form of leisure and social contact for some people as they may feel too anxious or too nervous or whatever to meet people in real life. And there's many mediums of online gaming, but the top three, as gaming systems go, happen to be a personal computer, because you can run lots of games off those, a Sony PlayStation, that's one of the biggest, selling gaming consoles of all time, or Microsoft Xbox gaming system. Those three on their own seem to be the largest gaming systems on the market to date. But it's also argued that online gaming, especially violent online gaming, causes increased aggression in real life, according to Anderson. So, if we're looking at previous studies of online gaming, or gaming in general, some previous studies have suggested that violent games create violence in young people. This has been suggested by several researchers, such as Griffiths and Mehroof, as they suggested that there was a relationship between online gaming and 5 traits, one of those being aggression. Another study that looks at online aggression was Lemons, Valkenburg, and Peter, as they had done a similar study and found a relationship that young boys who played violent video games showed more aggressive traits. But there are problems with these previous studies. Now, there's nothing wrong on their own with the previous studies, but they're all saying significant relationship between online gaming and aggression. But it's all correlations and regressions. Those types of analysis, they don't show a causality. They might imply it, but they don't show it definitively. They don't answer the question of, does online gaming make people more aggressive? It just doesn't happen. The previous studies only looked at the negative side of gaming and almost entirely disregard the possible benefits that gaming can have. Nobody's ever looked at whether online gaming can improve somebody's reflexes, or maybe even possibly social skills or emotional well-being. It's all been about, does it make you more violent? Does it make you more neurotic, or what, or so, and so on and so forth. So if we're looking at online gaming, the positives of it, there are some positives to online gaming, or just gaming in general. One such benefit is shown by a study done by Castell, Pratt, and Drummond, as they conducted a study, and this was on searching an environment for certain objects. This was in the gameplay area. The study found that those who played video games were more proficient at certain visual tests over those who do not play video games. Granick, Lobel, and Engels also suggested that there are benefits in emotional well-being if a young person plays video games, as they suggest when gamers complete certain tasks or objectives within the game, they will feel a sense of achievement. So, for example, if you're playing a adventure game like, say, I don't know, Skyrim, you complete a quest, you earn rewards from it. That builds your self-esteem. That will give you a sense of achievement. I've completed one quest. This gives me motivation to go complete another. Another benefit was shown by Primack et al. They found in their review that gaming can prepare, in the medical sense, patients and clinicians physically or psychologically. So this isn't just everyday social skills. If you wanted to, you could apply this to medical science as well. They also found that video games can also be a distraction from pain and, surprising as it may be, increase a person's physical activity. So if you're looking at an interactive game through, say, the Xbox Kinect, that requires you to move physically. That can increase your physical activity if you wanted it to. And a meta-analysis by Ferguson had looked at the accuracy of whether violent video games cause aggression, and he had discovered that it does not. He also looked at whether violent video games had caused increased visual spatial cognition, and found that this is the case. Everybody's been looking at it one way. Along comes Ferguson, and he says, no, it's not aggression. It does happen to be something else. It may be a factor, but it's not an overarching factor. So the overall conclusions. Gaming as a whole is a new field of research and is under-researched currently. But gaming does seem to have its benefits and its drawbacks. Any research that is done has to be carefully examined, as there might not be any significant results, and if these pieces of research are done, if it's correlations, you have to be very careful with those as well. However, the studies that have done by researchers such as Anderson do seem to suggest, in maybe the slightest manner at all, that violent video games do make young people aggressive. But the research on that area is contested due to the nature of analysis. With correlations, after all, they don't imply causality. Research carried out by Ferguson, though, does also suggest that video games can support a person's emotional well-being and possibly enhance a visual spatial cognition abilities. But Ferguson, at the same time, was doing a meta-analysis. This isn't exactly accurate, but it is a step forward. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy the show.